History says that the Oregon football team has a better chance than Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, and USC to win a national championship this year. I'll explain. Locked on Big Ten starts right now.
You are Locked on Big Ten, your daily podcast on the Big Ten Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Big Ten. I'm Craig Sheeman, coming up on 40 years as a sports talk show host and play-by-play announcer, and I want to thank you for making us your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're going to chop it up here. Look at the history books. What does history say about this year? They like the Ducks. That's what history does. And recruiting. A little surprise for you and our picks or odds at the end of the show. We're going to look at the Heisman today. Really only 4 players from the Big Ten have a chance according to Vegas, but we'll get to that later. The Oregon Ducks and the Ohio State Buckeyes are favorites to win the Big Ten title this football season. Penn State, Michigan, and USC are likely to make playoff pushes now that the playoffs have expanded to 12 teams. So if we're really talking about the championship and winning it all, we're going to start with Oregon and Ohio State. But I found a historical formula for winning a national championship, and that formula favors Oregon over everybody else in the Big Ten. Now, this formula was showcased by CBS. I want to give them credit for this. But over the last 10 years of college football and the playoffs, every championship team had one thing in common. Let's boil it down. All 10 teams that won a title in the last 10 years, they had at least 3 out of these 4 categories checked off. Here they are. Listen, they got a returning head coach. All right. They got a returning offensive coordinator. They have a returning defensive coordinator. And they have a returning quarterback that played at least 4 games in the previous season. Again, if you got at least 3 of those 4 categories, that all took place on all of the championship teams the last 10 years. And by the way, all 10 also finished no worse than 13th in the previous season's final rankings. By the way, the last time none of this came true, it was Jameis Winston's national championship team with Florida State in 2013. But let's move ahead. Let's look ahead to 2024. Let's compare some resumes. The Oregon Ducks' final college football rankings last year was 8th. Head coach Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning will come back. He's back. He was there last year. Offensive coordinator Will Stein. Defensive coordinator Tosh Lapoy. He'll return. They don't have the same quarterback though. Obviously, Bo Nix is gone. He went on into the NFL. His eligibility was up. His first rounder, good for him. Although everybody's pretty excited about Dylan Gabriel at quarterback. So again, they were ranked 8th. They've got 3 of the 4 boxes checked. That means they're capable of winning a national championship according to history and this fun little group of stats looking back over the last 10 years. So Oregon, they're in. Let's see how everybody else does. Ohio State, Ryan Day, head coach, coming back. Defensive coordinator, Jim Knowles coming back. But they have a new quarterback. Kyle McCord is gone, and they definitely have a new offensive coordinator. We had Bill O'Brien for a while, and then Chip Kelly is now the guy. So that eliminates the Buckeyes from the historical discussion. Although, I'll put an asterisk by them, me looking at this CBS data. Technically, last year, Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator. So maybe they do check some boxes. We'll keep that in mind later on in the year. Let's look at Penn State. James Franklin returning as head coach. And his starting quarterback is back in Drew Aller. But both the Nittany Lions coordinators are brand new, right? We got Andy Kotelnicki, the new offensive coordinator, going to come in, mix things up, try and help out Drew Aller, change things up with pace of formations and all that stuff. And former Indiana head coach Tom Allen is the new defensive coordinator. So according to this formula, Penn State is out as far as winning a national championship. Michigan is all new in all the wrong places. They're 0 for 4 in this historical exercise. Sharon Moore takes over for Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. We're not sure which quarterback is going to take over, but he will not be J.J. McCarthy. New offensive coordinator Kirk Campbell was the quarterback coach last year. And Wink Martindale is a brand new defensive coordinator. So Michigan's all new on all these stats. So according to this, not going to be Michigan's year like last year was. Washington is 0 for 4 on all these categories as well. Of course, Kalen DeBoer, head coach, he's gone. He's now at Alabama, replaced Nick Saban. Quarterback Michael Penix Jr. is now in the NFL. And, of course, with the new coach comes 2 new coordinators on both sides of the ball. So Washington is out, according to this. Just for fun, let's look at Lincoln Riley and the USC Trojans. Now, they didn't rank high enough. Remember, you also have to be in the top 13. They didn't do that. Had a disappointing year last year. But I thought we'd throw them in here for this exercise anyway. And they'll have a new quarterback because Caleb Williams is gone. He's now with the Chicago Bears. It's the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. And their offensive coordinator is still Josh Henson. So Lincoln Riley, Josh Henson, that's still in place, but new quarterback. And they have a new defensive coordinator and Anton Lynn, who came from UCLA. So they're out, according to this historical formula. All right. Anyway, according to history, or at least the last 10 years of college football, as far as the champions go, the analytics say that 2024 is the year of the Oregon Ducks. Now, wouldn't that be a remarkable storyline? I mean, the Oregon Ducks perhaps winning the Big Ten title and or a national championship in their first year in the Big Ten. Pretty impressive. That's quite a statement. Dan Lanning and company will have certainly arrived if they make a big splash like that in their first year. Their season starts August 31st. Can't wait. That is going to be here. That is right around the corner. They host Idaho, and then they host Boise State. And in week 3, the rivalry battle with spurned Oregon State, who was one of the 2 teams left behind when the Pac-12 blew up. So I'm sure Oregon State would love to make a statement in that game. Then it's off to UCLA in week 4, as we want to look a little bit further ahead into the schedule for the first Big Ten matchup, and to get to meet each other for the first time as Big Ten foes. That might be week 5. I'm just thinking in the top of my head. Week 4 or week 5, it's Oregon and UCLA. It'll be the first time they face each other as Big Ten foes in the first Big Ten game officially. But the one I'm going to circle on the calendar for the Ducks is Ohio State, October 12th. Can't wait for that one. So, and now that I think about it, yes, UCLA's week 4. Then 2 weeks later, they've got the Ohio State game. It's all coming to me here while we're talking. That's the game we're circling on the schedule. I mean, a lot of people think that could be a preview for a Big Ten championship game, but certainly whoever wins that game will have a leg up on getting to the Big Ten championship game, October 12th. People, that's a game already in demand, and can't wait for that one. So anyway, that's the formula. It looks good. It looks good for Oregon. We'll put an asterisk on Ohio State, and then everybody else not going to make it according to this formula. What do you think? Maybe you saw this story as well. Love to hear from you on that one. Many ways for you to reach out to us here today or any day for that matter. Hit us up on Twitter at X at TalkBig10 Don't forget our website, TalkBig10 10.com, and also comments on YouTube. Love to hear from it. We're going to talk some recruiting in just a moment. And Indiana got a 5-star. How about that? Here's the deal, though. Iowa Hawkeyes fans, we all loved Cooper DeJean, right? He was a treat to watch. He was All-American, great defensive back, special teams, really made that team go. He's in the NFL. Well, we got another DeJean coming along. That's right. We'll tell you about that and whether the Hawkeyes are interested in him as well. Plus, Michigan State gets another quarterback, trying to get things deep for the future. A lot of recruiting talk. That's all coming up next right here on Locked On Big Ten. Passion, drive, and patience. That is the formula for winning championships. It's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. And with all the parts you need at all the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Thank you for making Locked On Big Ten your first listen each and every day, especially you everydayers out there. Meanwhile, be sure to subscribe. You know, a friend and tell them about us, but go ahead and subscribe. Then we get in this Big Ten club together every single day on YouTube, or you can share and follow and like Locked On Big Ten, your team every day. Also, don't forget to check out our website if you want some merch like I'm wearing, or for your favorite team, pennants, hats, things for the desk, mugs, all that stuff. You can get it right there at talkbig1010.com. Talkbig1010.com. Maybe you missed on Father's Day, but you know, it's never too late. Go ahead and get yourself some swag for the Big Ten. All right. Hey, whatever happened to Taulia Tagovailoa from Maryland? You know, we hear a lot about his brother. He's in the news almost every day with the Miami Dolphins as their quarterback, but not too much about Taulia these days. And he left Maryland as the Big Ten's all-time leading passer. But there really wasn't any NFL interest. And so now he's going to go up north, and he signed as a practice squatter for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He's on a practice squad in a Canadian Football League team. Maybe his size hurt him. He's only 5'11", barely 200 pounds. He did participate in some mini camps with the Seahawks and the Cardinals, but didn't garner much interest, didn't go anywhere. So he's going north up to the Canadian Football League. Speaking of quarterbacks, Sparty landed a quarterback for the class of 2025, and he's a 3-star, borderline 4-star, 3-star quarterback Leo Hannon. He's going to arrive early enrollment in January. He's pretty big at 6'4", got a big arm. Some ranking services again say he's borderline 4-star. But this is all about the future as Michigan State looks all set at quarterback with Aiden Childs. Very excited to see how he does in his first year in East Lansing. Also, if you are an Iowa football fan, then you know all about All-American defensive back Cooper DeJean. He was electric on defense. He was electric on special teams. He was a game changer every time he just had a nose for the football. And now he's in the NFL, and it'll be hard to move on without him. But I don't know if you know this or not, Cooper has a brother, Jaxx DeJean, 2 X's, Jaxx Dean, Jaxx DeJean. And Iowa just offered him a scholarship. Now, Hawkeye fans, you're going to have to wait a while. First of all, he hasn't decided yet because he can't. He just finished his freshman season at high school. He's a tight end. Of course, tight end you there at Iowa. What a perfect fit, right? He caught 37 passes for 500 yards his freshman year and 7 touchdowns. Plus, rushed 20 times for 128 yards and 5 more touchdowns. But that's not all. On defense, had 4 interceptions, recovered 2 fumbles, and made 25 tackles. Who does he sound like a little bit here, huh? These DeJean kids, they're like multitasker. They can do everything. They do everything but play quarterback. So obviously he's on Iowa's radar and vice versa. I think he's pretty interested, but he's very talented. Stay in the Hawkeyes family, I say. Certainly loved watching his brother play. We'll see if he's part of the future for the Iowa Hawkeyes. And more recruiting news. The Indiana Hoosiers have landed a 5-star player for 2025. Happens to be a kicker. Bryce Taylor out of Bloomington South, local kid. He waited only a week to accept the offer. They offered him last week. He said, okay, cool. It's not like he didn't have other offers, because he did. He's the number 1 kicker in the state of Indiana. And he also had offers from Air Force and Army, and he recently visited Ohio State and Texas A&M. So there was some interest for him, but anyway, he's going to stay home. He's going to kick for the hometown Hoosiers. And it's the Hoosiers already have 2 scholarship kickers on the roster as it is. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out moving forward. Hey, anytime we talk about recruiting, it's always brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. These days, every new potential hire could feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnCollege. Terms and conditions apply. Hey, are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? Maybe you have a TV on at work. Maybe you work from home. I don't know what your deal is, but some people watch it, right? Some people do. Then you got to turn down the volume because it gets all annoying with all that shouting and stuff going on. You can make the switch to Locked On Sports today. It's another Locked On channel. This show will appear on there from time to time. It's a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, which we always promote here as well. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. All right, on Fridays, we like to do some sort of pick 'em or look at odds for something coming up. Obviously, we're at the slower point of the season. I like to look at lists and odds for things in the future. Today, we're going to look at the odds for the Heisman Trophy. It's a list of 20. They're all quarterbacks. Going to give you the odds. There's only 4 Big Ten players or quarterbacks on this entire list, which is going to bring up another point I'm going to tell you about in a moment. By the way, 2 of the 4 are on the same team. 2 quarterbacks on one team, both with the same Heisman odds. Stick around and find out who that is. It's all coming up in 1 minute right here on Locked On Big Ten. All right, let's take a look at our final segment, our picks, if you will, our odds. We're going to look at Heisman Trophy odds as we sit here in mid to late June. These things always change. We haven't played any games yet. A lot of speculation, but that's what Vegas does, man. They put the odds out there, so we are here to take a look at them. I'll let you know what we think. I'm going to go full screen with these in case you are on audio only. I will describe it in detail for you. And let's put it on the big board and take a look and see where we're at. All right, here's the first group. All right. Quinn Ewers at Texas and Carson Beck right now at Georgia, both at plus 900. It's tightening up a little bit in the top 3. Dylan Gabriel from Oregon at plus 1,000. So plus 900, you bet $100, you win, you get $900. All right. So Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck at plus 900. Dylan Gabriel at Oregon right there at plus 1,000. Now here's where the odds spread out a little bit more. Jalen Milroe, you Michigan fans are familiar with him. Saw him in the Rose Bowl from Alabama. He is at plus 1,400. And then Will Howard for the Ohio State Buckeyes at plus 1,500. We'll see how he does. I mean, he's going to have to be a little more Tim Tebow-ish and get something done on the ground, too, because he's not a great passer. So we'll see how he does. Meanwhile, my favorite name of all the quarterbacks in college football, Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. I like Ole Miss's chances this year to win it all as well. He comes in at plus 2,000, as does Garrett Nussmeier at LSU. And DJ Uiagalelei from Lele from Florida State. Now Florida State. This is his 3rd school. He was at Clemson. Then he was out west at Oregon State, and now he is at Florida State plus 2,000. Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee at plus 2,200, and Cam Ward with the Miami Hurricanes at plus 2,500, taking over for Tyler Van Dyke, who left to go to Wisconsin. By the way, we'll talk about them a little bit more next week with the Wisconsin Badgers. All right, who else do we have here on the big board? Jackson Arnold, quarterback out of Oklahoma. His odds of winning the Heisman are plus 3,000, as are Riley Leonard at Notre Dame. Riley Leonard came from Duke, transferred over to Notre Dame. Now plus 3,000, as is Noah Fafita from Arizona. Cam Rising's over there at Utah, injured last year. Now he's coming back, going to come back strong, hopefully. He's got a shot at plus 3,500. There's Brady Cook at Missouri at plus 3,500, part of the resurgence there at Missouri. Also, a couple more at plus 3,500. Avery Johnson at Kansas State and Jalen Daniels at Kansas, plus 3,500. So Avery Johnson is the next quarterback after Will Howard, who, of course, left to go become the quarterback at Ohio State. So he's next man up out there. We've got Cade Klubnik at Clemson at plus 4,000. And look at this. The last two on the list, both at USC. Some of you may not know much about Jade Maeva at USC, but you've probably heard of Miller Moss because we've talked about him a lot. After Caleb Williams knew he was going to the NFL and did not play in the Holiday Bowl, Miller Moss stepped up and threw 6 touchdown passes. Everybody presumes he will be the starter, but look at Vegas. 2 quarterbacks on the same team with the same odds at plus 4,000. So Vegas always knows something. But I would put it on Miller Moss before I put it on Jaden at this point. That's just me. So there you have it. Our look, our picks, our odds moving forward, heading into the weekend, something to look at. The 2024 Heisman Trophy betting odds as they stand here. We'll keep this list handy somewhere. And then here's look at the top odds. We'll keep this handy and compare it later in the summer. And then as the season goes on, obviously it'll change drastically once we have some games and all that stuff. But pretty interesting list right there for your Heisman odds here in June. All right. That'll do it for that. Hope you enjoyed that. Maybe make some money. Who knows? All right. Couple things. It is Father's Day weekend. I want to wish all of you fathers out there happy Father's Day. Hope you enjoy it. And hey, if you are getting together with the family or whatever, and you have a family member or friend of the family that's a Big Ten fan or Big Ten alum, tell them about us, that we're here. We're here every day, just putting out more information, more opinion, more talk, more promotion for the Big Ten each and every day. So if you could spread the word of mouth, that'd be doing us a solid. Also, feel free to subscribe. That really helps us out. It gets you and me together for the whole summer and all season moving forward. It's free. It doesn't cost you any money. You don't need any information. Just click it, boom, and you're subscribed. And we're there for you each and every day. Don't forget, you can interact with us on Twitter. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter at TalkBig10 the website, TalkBig10 10.com. Again, if you missed your opportunity to buy your father some Big Ten stuff, pennants, hats, shirts, cups, mugs, you can get it all right there on the website, TalkBig10 10.com. There it is on the bottom, the crawl, if you're watching on video. Also, your comments on YouTube are always welcome as well. But yeah, be sure to subscribe and follow this podcast right now on your latest, on your favorite podcast app, and you'll get the latest episode of Locked On Big Ten as soon as it's available each and every day. We come out audio only at 4 a.m. every day, 4 a.m. Eastern. The video on YouTube comes out about 6 a.m. right in time for your commute to work. But while you're here over either now or over the weekend, feel free to go back and check out a few other ones if you missed them. Get caught up a little bit, if you will. And again, they're all on our website, TalkBig10 10.com, in chronological order, and also grouped by your favorite school. And then all your swag is right there. If you want to buy something, it's all right there. TalkBig10.com. When you're done with us, feel free to join our friends at Locked On Sports Today. Here for you 24/7, covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows covering every single league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe there to the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel. That'll do it. Once again, great weekend. Hope you have a great weekend. Happy Father's Day, and we will talk to you on Monday. Thanks for checking us out here. Enjoy the visit as always. Can't wait till we talk again. I'm Craig Sheeman for Locked On Big Ten. See you next time.